insurance ripoff, basically showcasing how in different counties there has been the insurance ripoff, and this leaves a very bad taste among the public and mostly with the county government workers who depend really on this, county government. And when you even extrapolate the whole conversation to workers who are depending on this kind of insurance, but then at the end of the day, they hear and they see some of these conversations of rip-off, this negative perception really stays with them. From the whole side of people who own these insurance companies and are hoping that people actually uptake this, and even from the government side, how should we really mend this?
Let me first of all say insurance is one of the most highly regulated businesses in this country. Highly regulated. Nothing that we do that is not regulated, including the amount of money that I earn as an insurance broker. There is, right now we have a conversation with our regulator. I cannot even earn some beyond a certain amount that is prescribed by law. Doesn't matter how hard I have worked. So it's a very highly regulated work. I think in my very honest and profound, with tremendous respect to yesterday's headline, I think there was a little bit of, I wish they went a little bit further to tell us who are these people, because showing figures of 176 million from this particular county. Now, for us as insurance companies, we have given them the cover.
Okay.
And we have quoted for them. And I would want to hear any particular county that they have a medical cover that was given by an insurance company that is not meeting its obligations. Because like I said, we are highly regulated. However, they need to ask their bosses. Perhaps in their books, they paid us 176,000, but in their books they put 400,000. If the story from the president yesterday to the readers is anything to go by, I don't want to get into that politics, but that just tells you perhaps the moral fabric of our leadership. Mm-hmm. As an insurance company, industry, we are doing the best that we possibly can. We saw also the insurance company coming up and saying that they have removed some facilities from our panel of the service providers, where we thought that they are actually charging a little bit more than we can actually afford. Because we were saying, if we go that direction, we have to add more money to our customers. So we are actually customer-centric as an industry. Right. I'm talking generality. I'm not saying there are no bad eggs, and I think the bad eggs are all over in the industry. Okay. But to a great extent, this is not yesterday's business of insurance. Okay. This is a highly, highly capitalized business. Right. You cannot put your billion shillings there. We are also IFRS now compliance and many, many other compliances, including now data protection and anti-money laundering and all those other issues. Yeah. So there are many, many laws that are actually curtailing the things that anybody would want to do in the industry. However, I'm not saying there may not be deals between different whatever, but unfortunately the newspaper gave it like it's a wholesome and this is what happens in our industry.
Well said.
To the contrary, there is a lot that actually we are paying, and if you look at the amount of money that we are paying the insurance companies, the amount of money we are paying the garages, in fact, the people who get ripped off are the insurance company, because we have no control at the hospitals. We have no control at the garages if they decide to do that. And I'm not saying they do so, but there are some, and I think the case of one of the largest providers, the fact that insurance companies were to say, so we can't afford you, please, let's, and you can see now discussions are being held. That goes to tell you that we are very conscious of the customer, because we could only then have said, if you want to continue going to this particular institution, then pay us more money. But we thought it is not possible. Right. That service can also be given across many other facilities. So why then do we have to force you to pay more money? So we are very, very conscious of the amount of money that we charge people. However, but I would want to say this perhaps as I had that point. The reason why sometimes people find medical a little bit expensive is that the pool is not large enough. If all of us can actually be able to partake insurance, then you can see that insurance comes down. It's like the old cliche and the old principle of the economies of scale. The more people are, the less in terms of payment. But now we only have a very small pool of people who then have to sustain this industry.
And this definitely calls for civic
Absolutely.
Knowledge. Even as you give us your final remarks, speak on that as well, then we finish it off.
I would say I think the whole issue of financial planning and insurance are intertwined, and they are very, very critical. There is need actually for us as an industry working together with our stakeholders, particularly the curriculum developers, like I said at the beginning, to start thinking whether we can be able to take insurance education a little bit down the line all the way to secondary and primary schools. Let people start appreciating what insurance is all about, so that by the time people start. Today, as a nation, we are not a good saving nation as in terms of pensions and what have you. So it's because people don't appreciate. They start coming into the industry, into the insurance at a very late stage, even medical. Perhaps now when you start getting family 30, 35 or whatever is when now you start thinking, hey, I need to have my medical cover. Had you started earlier, it would perhaps even be cheaper, and then you'll have your history better, and perhaps you can even be able to negotiate. So my take is that let's take this gospel on insurance and the whole issue of financial planning and how they intertwine to a new level, all the way down to our school curriculum, so that people can understand what insurance is all about. And then also to urge people is that I think we have changed as an industry. There is a lot of, if you go now to our website and all mitandaos, you will actually be able to see a lot of insurance and what insurance is doing. And then you can actually now be able to compare different platforms, different offerings by various insurance companies. Initially, you could only rely on perhaps what you know, but now all information and a lot of information in terms of even comparisons, you can be able to get it even online now. So we cannot afford to hide anymore, not that necessarily we used to, but I think it's because people didn't understand. Today, if you ask ChatGPT and Google and everybody else, they can break it down some of those languages. Mm-hmm. And lastly to say, we have also reduced the legalese in insurance. If you look at the motor insurance, for instance, we have gone to what we call plain language, wording of policies, mm-hmm. so that we have removed a lot of legalese. Of course, a lot still remains, but we are continually improving on even the language that we are using so that people can be able to understand.
Right.
So let's take insurance and stick